By the power vested in me, I hereby constitute this assembly as a legal congregation of the University of Pretoria. During this assembly, degrees, with all the associated rights and privileges, will be conferred on the candidates whose names appear in the program. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin by inviting you to join us in a moment of silent prayer or meditation to give thanks for the achievements of our students. Thank you. As Vice Principal of the University of Pretoria, I'd like to extend a very hearty word of welcome to you for this graduation ceremony. In particular, I would like to welcome the following: our Registrar, Professor Nicholson, the Dean of the Faculty of Education, Professor Sahuli, and the Deputy Dean, Professor Human Vogel, chairpersons of schools, heads of departments, directors, emeriti and honorary professors, and other lecturers and their spouses, supervisors, co-supervisors, and external examiners of Dr. Randy, the representative of the Student Representative Council, who will present the SRC Academic Honorary Colours, all persons to whom degrees will be conferred this afternoon, and all spouses, parents, and other parties, as well as the dignitaries who we may not be aware of. Good afternoon to you all. On behalf of the university, I really am delighted to be here to welcome you and to officiate at this graduation ceremony. All university ceremonies are important, but as a graduation ceremony, today's has special significance. It's important to the University of Pretoria, of course, but it's much more significant to you, our valued students, who are about to be awarded your degrees and to be formally and publicly recognized for your achievements. It is also of great importance to your parents, other family members, partners, perhaps your children, and to everyone else who has supported you and cared about you and helped you to reach this life-changing stage of your lives, and for whom, and who I hope are here with you, at least some of them. The University of Pretoria turned 110 years old in February this year. It is one of the largest and most highly respected universities in South Africa and in Africa. We have over 55,000 students, 9 faculties on 6 campuses, and we have graduated well over 250,000 students in those 110 years. In this autumn graduation season, we will graduate another 11,423 students. And in this ceremony, we will graduate 4 doctoral students, 8 master's students, 118 honors students, and 276 bachelor's students, all in the Faculty of Education, a total of 406 graduates today. Graduates. A degree from a university as prestigious and highly respected as the University of Pretoria is a measure of your ability, and it's also a sign of your worth as one of a few highly qualified people whose skills and knowledge have been accredited by the university. You may be interested to know that the university is ranked among the 250 top universities in the world for education and second in Africa, based on the QS subject rankings, which means that your University of Pretoria qualification in education is highly regarded. The world into which you will take your new qualification is starkly different from the world of previous decades, and it continues to change rapidly. We are now well into the first phase of the so-called Fourth Industrial Revolution, the era of digitalization, with some people already talking about a fifth revolution. But this is also a world still characterized by significant inequalities, poverty, hunger, unemployment, and access to educational opportunities. Responding to these challenges of inequality, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the 17 Sustainable Development Goals in September 2015, with the aim of achieving them in 15 years. The goals range from elimination of poverty and hunger through access to clean water and include, high up on the list, quality education. As educators, you will have an important role to play in helping to achieve those Sustainable Development Goals, particularly the one on quality education, which is urgently needed in our country and across the African continent. Ensuring quality education means more than just teaching, of course. It also means taking a clear stand for secure classrooms, good facilities for learners, and adequate learning materials. Your understanding of the critical role that education plays in enabling young people to find employment or to go on to post-school education and to help support family members is a great strength to be exercised in support of a better society, less unemployment, and greater social security. As graduates with sound knowledge and skills, you are very well placed to make the most of those challenging global conditions. The Fourth Industrial Revolution will progressively provide valuable means for improving classroom education, and it will extend opportunities beyond traditional physical boundaries. Children and young people in remote places will increasingly have access, possibly through mobile phones at least, to lessons being taught in urban areas or from other countries. Information will become increasingly easily available, as will misinformation, placing responsibility on educators to enable learners to distinguish between what is valuable and what is dangerous. Online games are already helping to do just that, and I'm sure you're aware of some of those. But in this very complex society, each of you has an essential and critical role to play in the face of vast oceans of data that need to be deployed in constructive ways, and in guiding future generations in the responsible use of information for the benefit of society and to make this a better world. All very serious, and I'm sure you are aware of your responsibilities as you go forward. But today is a time for celebration. You have achieved a great deal, so make the most of what this means. Celebrate with everyone who is with you. Be proud. Go confidently into the next phases of your careers. Our heartiest and warmest congratulations to each and every one of you, and our sincere thanks to all of those who have supported you along the way. Thank you. I now request the Dean and Supervisors to introduce to me the candidates present whose names appear in the programme.
Madam Vice Principal, the supervisors will now introduce the doctoral candidates.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Carlos Alejandro de Silva Lushande, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis entitled Systemic Factors Associated with Changes in Grade 6 Learners' Achievement in Mozambique, prepared under my supervision and with Professor Monica Rosen as co-supervisor. In his thesis, The Systemic Factors Associated with Changes in Grade 6 Learners' Achievement in Mozambique, The promovendus aim to identify and evaluate the systemic factors related to the decrease in grade 6 learners' achievement in Mozambique between 2000 and 2007. Previous research of educational effectiveness in Mozambique was limited in scope and difficult to generalize. The secondary analysis of the Southern and Eastern African Consortium for Monitoring Educational Quality Data represents the first holistic view of systemic factors associated with educational effectiveness in Mozambique. The conceptual framework underpinning the research utilizes a previously tested educational effectiveness model based upon systems theory. Hierarchical linear models grounded in a trend design approach were used to assess the variation in learner achievement decrease associated with changes in school inputs and processes. This research argues that in developing countries such as Mozambique, where access to education is still in progress, learners' characteristics rather than school inputs and processes account for a large part of explained learners' achievement variance. That is, when the educational system is still not fully developed, evaluation of changes in school effectiveness over time is strongly associated with changes in learners' intake composition. The implication of these findings on assumption of large-scale assessment studies in developing countries is a key issue. The study therefore concluded that the SACMEX studies require a stronger longitudinal design to investigate how both school and intake factors influence achievement. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Mr. Johnson Magumise, who has complied with the requirements of the degree Doctor of Philosophy with the thesis titled Parent and Teacher Experiences of Zimbabwean Inclusive Education, prepared under my supervision. In his thesis, Parent and Teacher Experiences of Zimbabwean Inclusive Education, the promovendus investigated ongoing controversies with regard to inclusive education and that inclusive education experiences of parents and teachers in Masvingo province have not been adequately investigated. Therefore, there are implications for inclusive education practice. The study followed constructivism as a research paradigm and a qualitative study research design. A sample of 24 was conveniently and purposefully selected for the findings. And the findings indicate participants had varying conceptualizations and experiences of inclusive education. Participants' experiences revealed children, parents, communities, teachers, and the labor market as beneficiaries of inclusive education and improved social skills, confidence levels, family cohesion, and community productivity as they achieved benefits, among others. Experience sharing between parents and teachers was found to be constructive. More awareness campaigns, stakeholder cooperation, infrastructural development, resource mobilization, and government interventions were recommended. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Nelody Lorraine McLeod Polani for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis entitled The Effect of Language Instruction and Contextual Factors on Higher Order Reading Comprehension Performance, prepared under my supervision. In her thesis, The Effect of Language of Instruction and Contextual Factors on Higher Order Reading Comprehension Performance, the different primary school language of instruction models found in South Africa were compared for performance on the higher order reading comprehension processes tested in the International Large-Scale Assessment Pre-PILS 2011, a nationally representative dataset. In examining the effects of home language-based and bilingual education, the marked differences in Grade 4 learners' performance observed on the higher order reading comprehension items across the language models were regarded as a reflection of the embedded contextual factors that relate to performance. Therefore, language of instruction interactively creates or restricts access to social tools and cultural capital, which mediate the development of higher order reading comprehension at home and at school was examined. The hypothesis that socioeconomic status and access to text significantly affect performance was strongly supported by the findings, and it was argued that the better provision of text at school could mediate the development of the cognitive and metacognitive reading strategies required for higher order reading comprehension across all language of instruction models and socioeconomic strata. Since print material is often more accessible to learners in English, and furthermore, as learners even of a lower socioeconomic status were found to perform better on the higher order reading achievement scale, a contextually based argument for focused prioritization of English L2 instruction concomitant to raising the quality of home language instruction is well supported by the findings. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Monica Deirdre van Niekerk, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Relational Requirements of Attachment and the Well-Being of Adolescents in the Family, prepared under my supervision. In her thesis, Relational Requirements of Attachment and the Well-Being of Adolescents in the Family, the promovendus used Neufeld's attachment theory to measure the quality of the attachment relationships in the family from a systemic perspective. The aim of the study was to establish whether the 6 indicators of attachment as defined by Neufeld can be measured and whether they can possibly predict adolescent well-being. Data was generated by developing a family attachment scale and by using principal components analysis to measure the dimensionality of the family attachment scale. The findings indicated that 2 dimensions, namely feeling loved and being known by one's family, are highly significant predictors of adolescent well-being. This research suggests that Neufeld's indicators of attachment can be reliably measured, thereby expanding the existing body of literature on attachment. It also provides the first empirical evidence to support Neufeld's theory of the requirements of attachment in a family, and thus adds to our knowledge of family relationships as family cohesion acts as a source of emotional support that emphasizes close relationships. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Madam Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Education. In Learning Support, Guidance and Counseling, Hester Bergers. Lelani Gronje. L'Oreille Lowe. In Master of Education in Education Psychology, Tabile Msweni. Megan Nodi. Katleho Nchwe. Melissa Raft. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Education Honours in Assessment, Quality Assurance in Education and Training, Adele Brekelman. Maraska Mtsweni. Therefore, Piri. Lindy West Kosana. Carmen Sneyman. Russell Tembekwayo. With distinction, Hendrina Cecilia Janse van Rensbeck. Sekobie Mashweshwe. Majapane Mateba. Blessing Onoura Ogunu. Altma van der Spey. Baccalaureus Educanis Honors en Leerondersteuning, Belinda Bridgens. Carmen Kutsie. With distinction, Gabriela de Friedes. With distinction, Magda Els. Nicola Forey. Jacqueline Hayward. Leilani Hebban. Emma Creer. With distinction, Mia Labuskachtni. With distinction, Biane Lombard. Jacqueline Lombard. Michelle Lawton. Darlene Lawrence. Masihu Marakalala. Marilee Mare. Palesa Mukwena. Rianda Nell. Tarina Nell. Marilis Nachel. Simone Oost Hazen. Elizabeth Pretorius. Ilana Rademeyer. Cornelia Sneyman. With distinction, Chanel van der Merwe. Chantel van Niekerk. Melissa van Wyk. Candice Feldman. With distinction, Delana Ferster. With distinction, Kelsey Ambrose. With distinction, Gabriela Barrigiero. With distinction, Jessica Calvert. Malechabe Chachani. Claudia De Faria with distinction. Clifford Dihangwani. With distinction, Chatina Dibisiani. With distinction, Angelique Eftra Toudakis. Nadia Els. Nicola Farmer. With distinction, Michelle Ferreira. Kate Ford. Daniela Kraft. Bianca Krusakov. Stephanie Lutz. Marilyn Lowe. With distinction, Nazri Mohammed. La Rochelle Nell. Phindile Nkosi. Anna Olivier with distinction. Marisa Prinsloo with distinction. Megan Ranger. With distinction, Lindsay Smart. Shazeen Sulman. Melissa Thunbrun. With distinction, Julia Valente. Zoe van der Waal. With distinction, Lejuan van Heerden. Nadine van Rooyen. Odile Visser. In education psychology, with distinction, Elise Anderson. Kerry Berry. Tanya Dedoit. Sumaya Joyce. Michelle Mayer. Solofelo Murake. Anine Sneyman. Alvina Strauss. Marianne Blunden. With distinction, Sarina Buerta. With distinction, Nita Greiling. Kylie Hammond. With distinction, Claire Hopkins. Kirsten Kelly. Nadine Lombard. With distinction, Tiny Marke. Michaela McDonald. Crystal Mombeck. Mereke Moton. Nozipho Mthethwa. Bongiwe Ngube. With distinction, Mpho Shuping. With distinction, Tegan van der Westhuizen. Clarice Lynn Westerman. Bianca Woodhouse. Madam Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Education in senior phase: Rochelle Balt, Lindy Bum, Senzo Buddha, Mariska Buzat, Cheryl Chauke, with distinction, Benjamin Kutzer, Pelokazi Kokoto, Katie D'Agostino, Simpiwe Dludlu, Njabulo Dladla, Kathleen Duplessis, Janine Dubrier, Tamarin Fock, with distinction, Melita Gurubesat, Cornelia Hansen, Bonnie Hutchinson, Sandile Khoza, Esna Kitchen, with distinction, Nathaniel Kupusami, Musheki Kwakwa, Jonathan Lawrence, Charmaine Lemmer, Tabile Mabena, Itumele Makhabe, Ayanda Maslangu, Navel Mahlangu. Sibusiso Mahlangu. Kgothatso Makopole. Ntombizodwa Manana. Amanda Mansour. Peladi Maputa. Noko Mashamaite. Bongani Mashele. Tobile Masina. Bulelane Masuku. Skombiso Matenjwa. Robin Mereng. Lindok Uhlem Mgwenya. With distinction, Tandega Mnisi. Venolia Mujetsi. Esther Muhitli. Karabo Mutlahlo. Nkoko Muhlamunyane. Jessica Muima. Seho Mukhotu. Ntswaki Mukhutswane. Mahlatsi Mutsatsi. Maite Murauzi. Re khumuditswe nage. Daniel Naudi. Surita Nel. Yvonne Ngema. Amanda Ngwenya. Bongani Ngwenya. Nduduzi Nkosi. Nokulunga Ndombela. Kelton Pattington. Hlohonofatso Pukane. Ntabiseng Rasekhololo. Evelyn Rose Rothballer. Ntombifuthi Sambo, with distinction. Re babaletswe Setloboko. Mlamli Professor Shongwe. Simpiwe Similani. Henry Swanepoel. Stephanos Terblanche. Mia Tosso. Smangele Tutubala. Adrian van der Merwe. Demi van Logenberg. Darren Fender. Jacques Viljoen. Lizanne von Villach with distinction. Desiree Catherine Wade. Tamarine Wadley. Crystal Willemse. Mlungisi Zita. Nozipho Zulu. Veronica Zwane. Madam Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Education in Early Childhood Development and Foundation Phase. Justin Abrahamse. With distinction, Arnold Ricardo. Stephanie Baker. Kristen Bartelson. Crystal Beckman. Kate Bentley. Yvonne Bester. Tashlika Bana. Christelle Bloom. Nadia Bode. Maxine Borden. Rebecca Buotha. Suni Buota. Carrie Ann Branges. Chivon Brutz. Shante Brown. With distinction, Elizabeth Bice. With distinction, Dominic Klute. Bernadette Kutzen. Ilke Kutsier. Sunday Kutsier. Simone Colbert. Alison Da Costa. Zoe Dalkos. Lindsay Davis. Calamari De Bruyne. Monique Derrida. Kayla De Villiers. Brianna Dost. Zani Duplessis. Clarice Deploy. Janelle Duprier. Monique Duprier. Loaldi Dupuit. Chelsea Dyson. Lebogang Jombe. Carmen Extian. Nadine Els. Jessica Erasmus. Michaela Erasmus. Tariq Erasmus. Elzanri Esterhazen. Claudia Faria. Caroline Ferreira. Paige Finch. Chloe Flaxman. Yana Marie Forey. Odette Forey. Wendy Freitas. Chelsea Goodman. With distinction, Gianna Gordon. Clarine House. Lara Greeley. Dale Greaves. Monique Grief. Johanne Grayson. Dedria Grobler. Esti Groenewald. Kayla Haroff. Suzette Hallett. Natasha Hanbury. Caitlin Hatting. Carrie Lee Heath. Samantha Head. Barbara Holzhausen. Jamie Halley. Jessica Husband. Kelly Hutchison. Abigail Isiaho. Chantel Janse van Rensbeck. Cairo Janse van Vieren. Madri Janse van Rensbeck. Shani Janse van Rensbeck. Ansa Janse van Vieren. Ansel Kamfer. Michelle Kaiser. Jessica Kirkland. Nelicia Kleinhans. Mareike Koekemoer. Marisa Krier. Inka Kusel. Saskia Kusel. With distinction, Erin Labuskaghni. Diane Ledbrook. With distinction, Rachel Lane. Laura Latham. Jacqueline Leith. Puseletso Lekoko. With distinction, Kamel Leroux. Tsu Tung Lin. Shannon Lyons. Siklin Ludolf. Rachel Lawrence. Lee Ludick. Zimkhona Mabena. Cherise Mahabir. Nombali Mahlangu. Shante Malan. Mahlatsi Maleka. Monica Mashia. Bianca Matthews. Ndombi Kayize Matonzi. Nare Mbembele. Kelsey McFarlane. Daniela McGarry. Zindle Mdluli. Nakita Mellet. Megan Mitchelson. Tebogo Mkhwebane. Nonhlanhla Mnyakeni. Khulufelo Mwabelo. Mpho Mukhwane. Khadija Muhammad. Thandeka Mokoena. Samantha Munich. Annie Maibok. Tesia Maibek. Beulah Nachal. Lucy Ndimande. Ranik Nel. Robin Nieuwhof. With distinction, Mia Nieber. Felicia Olivier. Haley Oosthuizen. Lani Palozi. Gezina Painter. Amy Pearl. Janine Peters. Michaela Potgieter. With distinction, Tanja Powells. And this candidate also is receiving academic awards for B.Ed Early Childhood Development for the best student in the degree B.Ed Early Childhood Development and Foundation phase. Chandra Prinsloo. Lara Prinsloo. Fasti Peter. Talita Rao. Michelle Reb. Sasha Lee Skippers. Karya Sekota. Catherine Siwengu. With distinction, Zanella Sibeko. Megan Smith. Kaylee Spence. Natasha Stephen. Jomer Stein. Nasir Suleiman. Valerie Marie Swanepoel. Leanne Simons. Melissa Talliard. Shannon Texiera. Noshrin Azar Tabit. Nelisiwe Timbani. Claudia Trudeau. Linda Marie Ungara. Alcruzan van der Walt. Bianca van der Walt. Janine van der Walt. Adele van der Vat. Sharon van Dechelen. Caitlin van Deen. Johanna van Jaarsveld. Hilda van Neukerk. Sharisa van Niekerk. With distinction, Marika van Nieuwenhuizen. Kristen van Noordwijk. Bernie van Rooij. With distinction, Anne van Straten. Elmilda van Tonder. Catharina van Week. Janine van Week. Natalie van Week. With distinction, Angelique Venter. Eunice Vermaak. Katarina Viljoen. Aral Foster. Marilise Foster. Robin Foster. Nicole Weber. With distinction, Jamie Wenzel. Johnny Wenzel. Kim Williams. Lara Wood. And Maxine Wright.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give our graduates one more big hand of applause for their hard work and perseverance. And I would now like to ask our graduates to applaud their families, friends, and spouses for their support over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the proceedings. Before we close, I would like to invite all present for refreshments afterwards in the marquees situated in the front of the Rembrandt Hall. You are requested to stand for the singing of the national anthem and to remain standing until the assembly has been dissolved and the academic procession has left the auditorium. The words of the national anthem are printed on the back inside cover of the program. Please rise. By the powers vested in me, I hereby dissolve this assembly of the University of Pretoria. Thank you.